Item C, discussion and possible action regarding high school health graduation requirement. And we have some people signed up to speak. Ms. Huey.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm here to change gears. We are going to the high school health credit. And my name is Tracy Rudnick, and I'm a teacher of NEISD, and I've had 2 students go through. My students I have AP student, he's a college athlete on a scholarship, and I have an ALE daughter, so special ed. So I have, from pre-K 3 through 12, experienced all of Northeast education and love it. Teaching, I was 6 years at Bradley Middle School, teaching and coaching. The past 5, I've been at Nimitz STEM in the morning, and then I go to Ed White Data in the afternoon. I get to combine all those kids. It's amazing. So I get to see every different part of our city in both of my schools. So with that, I would like to go on why we should continue, and it's a great mental health segue as well from the chaplain to this, why we should continue to have health in Northeast. Suicide. In 2021, we had 48,000 deaths in our country due to suicide. So the students receive resources, coping skills in the class that help them deal with it. We have the stand counselors. Did you know that? And the kids are like, I didn't know that. They're specifically trained to help with self-harm, suicide, all of that. So, even if they don't need it in 8th grade or in 11th grade, in their 20s, college is a tough time. That those are resources they can use later on in life. We did mental health disorders, and you would not believe how many kids, Coach, I've got that. I've got this. And I'm like, you don't need to disclose what you have. That can be private, trying to work on social cues as well. But it's so important to know that that is a huge issue for our students, for adults. We want them to cope with things, maybe divorce, loss of a job. Don't turn to alcohol, don't turn to other unhealthy methods, and to learn to cope with these. So I am going to be a little bit different. I want to give you stories that I've had, students that I've taught, the impact. I've been teaching for 20 years. The other have been at high school, like Travis, Austin, and then Robert E. Lee. I was the coach there and taught. So our second unit after mental health, we go to communication. I had a student 4 weeks ago, Coach Rudnick. I solved a conflict between my 2 friends with what we learned in class. Real life skills, solving drama. We can really eliminate that, is helpful. I'm sure y'all agree. The less drama, the healthier you are. What it is, we talk about bullying, cyberbullying, the Northeast webpage. You can click a button and report it. It's empowerment. It is empowering your children, the district to self-advocate for them, to help others in need, to be an upstander, not a bystander. We need more of that. After that, CPR, first aid.
I'm so sorry, that's your time.
That was my time? Oh, so fast. Okay.
Sorry.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Johnson, and I am a health teacher at Lee High School, and have been a teacher at Lee for 22 of my 24 years here in Northeast. The other 2 years I was at Ridgeview, so I've been in the Lee cluster my whole career. So I say that because I know those kids and I know that community. The consideration of removing high school health from the required list of courses to graduate is something I'm very concerned about. For the 20-plus years I have taught, motor vehicle accidents were the leading cause of death among teens, but now it's suicide. We are a district that has taken a huge step forward in focusing on mental health, and this course is one of the best outlets for our students. Mental health, along with other important topics like leading a healthy lifestyle, CPR, first aid and AED training, drug and alcohol awareness, and human sexuality and abstinence education, to name a few of the things that are a huge piece of this course. If the balanced scorecard is important to our district, as I believe it is to be, then keeping health as a requirement should remain. All students need to be taught about the importance of real-life problems and situations that come up every day. It allows staff and students positive and engaging conversation. It builds on student, family, and community relationships, and it promotes academic, college career, military readiness by discussing future plans and personal goals, along with focusing on the overall well-being of the individual. While some may feel other classes, especially honors and AP classes, that offer more rank points are more important than a health class, there is a much larger group of students who need it based on the growing number of teens with anxiety, depression, and struggles with mental health. With the increased number of students coming into our country, and in particular our city and our schools, with Lee having 772 EB kids, this is a huge piece of that education that they need. My husband and I are both proud products of NEISD. We have 3 children, 1 who is now graduated from Johnson, and 2 who are currently magnet program students in the magnet program at Lee. So they take those accelerated classes. They play multiple sports. They're involved in PALs and so many other things on campus. The biggest thing I want you to know today that I come to you is that I'm not just a teacher, I'm a parent, and a parent of Northeast kids. One who talks to their kids all the time about life and experiences, and I still want them to take health, because I think it's important that they build those build those relationships with their teachers, with their students. They're not just with their kids in their AP classes, they're with kids from the whole entire school during those class periods. So I think it allows our kids to also work towards unity among their peers. Parents think they have close relationships to their kids until they don't. And so let's not just think about those particular kids, but let's think about all of our NEISD kids. Thank you.
All right, good evening. My name is Taylor Swift. I'm just kidding, that's not my name. No, but my name is Alan Mauricio, and I'm a Northeast ISD graduate, and I work in health education. I began this work because when I was a teen, there was so much I didn't know, and finding information on health in general was a challenge. Being a high school student over 20 years ago, and now being an adult, I now understand the benefits of having knowledge about my physical health, both internally and externally, mental health, and healthy behaviors. I have been privileged to work in the community as a health educator for the last decade. I've also had the privilege to work with most of the school districts in Bexar County and the surrounding areas. I also work with some school districts currently that do not have health as a requirement, and I've seen firsthand on how that decision has cheated students. For example, 35.9% of adults are overweight in Texas. 1 out of 5 children are affected by obesity. Did you know Texas ranks at number 15 for death by suicide? For middle school and high school students in Texas, it is the second leading cause of death. Did you also know that San Antonio has the second highest rate of sexually transmitted infections in Texas, with more than 12,000 new chlamydia cases in 2022, with the age group 15 to 24 having the most? The point is, this is important information for students to learn because it will empower them to make knowledgeable decisions about their health. Teens need a space where they not only learn about health, but a safe space where they can talk about it and ask questions. Prevention education is crucial. If I'm being completely honest, Northeast ISD is very near and dear to me because this district is where I grew up. Starting out at Montgomery Elementary School, then to Ed White Middle School, and then to Roosevelt High School. I know this area has had a lot of disparity when it comes to health and the health resources. I ask you, please do not even consider taking away health classes from these students. Thank you for your time, and go Rough Riders.
Good evening. My name is Deanna Fensel, and I have 2 children in the NEISD system at Bradley and at Churchill, and I absolutely love those schools. They're doing a great job. So I'm here to talk about the health ed as a requirement. I would like for the status of the health course requirement needed to graduate be changed from mandatory to elective. Texas is a state that allows the school board the ability to make this change. In its place, I would love for the district to use some type of United States Constitution comprehension course, including maybe a citizenship exam to show deep understanding of what it means to be a United States citizen. In my opinion, health as a requirement to graduate isn't making an investment into the future leaders of our country. Making health an elective still gives family a choice. They can still elect to take the health class. No one's taking it away. Please give parents and students more freedom to decide what is best for our kids for that half credit. I believe this is an easy way to respond to our needs. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Isabel Rodriguez. I'm a student at the International School of the Americas, and I am in favor of keeping health education as a graduation requirement. I'm going to be focusing more on sexuality education. There was a study done by Dr. Laura Lindberg on the decline of proper sex education. In general, there is a substantial decline in young men and women receiving this proper sex education. And there was no increase during the study period in the proportion of teens who discuss these sexual education topics with their parents, which means some students might not have a safe space to talk with their parents about these topics. 1 in 5 young women and 1 in 3 young men did not receive instruction about birth control from other formal sources or their parents. Lindberg says that relying on parents alone to provide teens with necessary information about sex is inadequate. The fact that we students will not have proper access to health education resources is damaging to our physical health. Schools should provide students with medically accurate and unbiased information that will allow them to make smart choices. And I just have a few stats from the Time for Change report on sex education and Texas health curriculum standards. 62.6% of grade 12 students in Texas have engaged in sexual intercourse compared to the 57.3 national average. 60.2% of Texans reported not using a condom the last time they had intercourse compared to the 50.1% national average. In 2016, Texas had the highest rate of teen repeat births. They were number 4 for the highest birth rate in the U.S., and in 2017, they were number 7. In 2017, more than 1 in 7 females and more than 1 in 6 males reported experiencing sexual violence within the past 12 months of being surveyed. And the HIV infection rate among Texas adolescents is 8 per 100,000 compared to 5.7 per 100,000 nationally. If we don't require health education, so many young students will continue to engage in uninformed decisions. For the benefit of all of us students at NEISD, please keep health education as a graduation requirement.
Good evening, council members. My name is Ram Moreno. I'm here for behalf of the health credit. Sorry, I'm not really prepared. I'm just here to share a real life story about me taking part of the health credit last year. Currently this year, beginning of January, I was at the gym and I helped this young man who was having a stroke. And without that health credit, I would not have been able to do the proper needs to help him come out safely. I'm not taking all the credit, but I'm here to just, speak my behalf and just inform you that to keep the credit, I believe so, sorry. Without that credit, I would not have taken it as an elective. It was a thing I needed to graduate, and I believe that every student should have the ability to at least learn it and to have the information. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Summer Broom. My son went into high school with 5 high school credits. I thought he was ahead of the game. It wasn't until we were going over his course card during his freshman year that we realized that he was going to have to spend 2 summers in summer school in order to graduate on time. Your data earlier indicated some of that. My husband and myself are both in the healthcare field. Health is extremely important to us. It's a daily conversation that we have with our children. We very much preach what we practice. And with that said, I feel confident as a parent that I can and have taught both of my kids all of these topics and can continue to do so on a daily basis. These are things a parent can and should teach. On the other hand, I am not capable of teaching my son the multiple software programs that he is learning, like SolidWorks or Java, which they are taking industry certification tests on soon. I do not want him to sacrifice taking a course that will help him narrow down what he wants to do for a career, make him more competitive both in college applications and jobs, because he has to choose between taking that course and health. Here's my son's schedule. He has no room for health other than to take it in the summer. He took Spanish 2 last summer, and while he did extremely well, it was abundantly clear that we all needed a summer break for a reason. He's a student athlete, which this schedule does not accurately depict. For football, he's at school before 6:30 a.m., and for baseball, he's on the baseball field until after 7 p.m. For example, I am missing a baseball game right now to be here while he's having a game. 4 years of athletics should be more than sufficient to satisfy this health credit, especially when many of the coaches that he is with are the ones that are teaching those health classes. Being in a magnet class or in a magnet program, many of those classes overlap with their teaching. They learn something in English and then it's carried over into math. Something in history, it's carried over into science. It isn't like the doors close on health and those coaches aren't teaching those athletes the same exact principles. He does not want to drop athletics in order to fulfill the health credit, and many of these courses that are required for his pathway are year-long classes where he can't take a half credit of computer science and then continue on to that pathway the following year. It's a
Sorry,
year.
that's your time.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Maureen Molak, a current resident in NEISD and the co-founder of David's Legacy Foundation, a local nonprofit that focuses on bullying and suicide prevention and digital wellness in Texas schools. I'm also on the advisory group for the Texas Center for Student Supports under TEA that is developing a framework to address the mental, emotional, and behavioral health needs to support student physical safety and academic success. I fell into this work 8 years ago after my youngest son, David, died by suicide at the age of 16, and I've been involved in multi-layered prevention efforts ever since. Through my advocacy work with the Texas legislature, the topic of the elimination of the high school health class requirement in 2009 has come up often in my discussions. Had they had the foresight that the rates of youth suicide would begin to dramatically climb beginning the following year in 2010, they tell me perhaps they would have made a different decision. Unfortunately, in Texas, the rates of youth suicide and most other health-related areas such as drugs, alcohol, and tobacco use are all higher than the national average. The current health TEKs, which are only in their second year, are a key prevention strategy to reduce these negative outcomes that have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 era. High school health class provides the opportunity for student discussion, which is critical to reduce the stigmas around mental health, suicide, and other safety concerns. And the class also teaches students how to advocate for themselves and others in bullying and cyberbullying situations. I understand the complexities of some students to fit health class into their high school graduation plan. My oldest son, Cliff, played multiple sports, was in many advanced classes, and was academically competitive in neighboring Alamo Heights. But we fit the required health class in despite the challenges with his schedule. I support you in engaging your community in this decision. Parents should receive information on the content of the health TEKs and how it integrates with your efforts to educate the whole child, as well as what unintended consequences might arise from the decision to eliminate or make the class elective. Could eliminating this class lead to capacity issues for your stand counselors? Could it lead to increased disciplinary referrals or classroom disruptions that impact teacher well-being or retention? What is the alternative plan to integrate the state-mandated health-related topics into your core subjects? Today, we can't pick up a newspaper without seeing an article that we are in the middle of a youth mental health crisis. Perhaps you could reconsider and postpone this decision until there are signs of youth mental health improvement. Thank you.